All right, looks like we got more inequalities here. This is lesson 2 of topic 2, day 2. All right, so we're going to solve this just the same as we did the last one. Add 4 to both sides. That gives us 6x is less than 30. And then all I got to do is divide both sides by 6, division property of equality, and it tells me that the answer must be less than 5, which means it can be anything less than 5. It can be 4, it can be 3, it can be 2. In fact, it can be decimals. It can be 4.9 or 4.99999, any as long as it's less than 5. All right, so then over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Subtract 4 from both sides. Subtraction property of equality. Bring down the negative 2s. That minus sign makes it a negative now. Negative, minus sign, pretty much the same thing. Here is the tricky part, though. Division property of equality, it states that whenever you divide both sides by a negative, that you must flip the sign. That's just the rule. So x means is greater than negative 3. So if you don't flip the sign, you have pretty much the wrong answer, the exact opposite of the answer. X has to be greater than negative 3, so it can be negative 2.99999 or anything greater than that. In fact, I could say 0.999 forever, and it would still be true because that'd be greater than negative 3. All right, so moving on. So this lesson is a continuation of yesterday of more and some more difficult ones even, but it starts off kind of easy. Some questions that ask you to think about which one is greater. Remember, there was 4 options in yesterday. Either the first one's greater, the second one's greater, they're equal, or it can't be determined, which happens to be the case in number 9. You can't determine if x is greater than y, because x could be 1, y could be 2. Therefore, y would be greater. Or x could be 10 and y could be 1. Therefore, x would be greater. There's too much overlap between this and this, which means x can be a lot of different things, and y could be a lot of different things, and they could be overlapped. So this cannot be determined. This question, all right, so most of you are going to look at this and think, oh, I need to skip this. We're doing this in the next topic, so this is really just a preview of what we're doing in the future. I'll go ahead and show you how to solve it. So we have 3 to the n plus 2 power equals 27. Well, something special about 27 is really 3 to the 3rd power. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again is 27. So I can change 27 to 3 to the 3rd power. And what you're going to learn next unit is that anytime you have bases that are the same, the bases are the 3's, then their exponents must also be equal. So that really cancels the bases out since they're the same, leaving you with n plus 2 equals 3. Subtract 2 from both sides. You can already see the answer. That means n is 1. If n must be 1, then 3 must be bigger. All right. So like I said, that's a preview of what you're going to see in the future. Some of these do get even trickier. So it says x is greater than 0. That just means x must be a positive. Y must also be a positive. Is x and x divided by y is also greater than 2. So that means x must be more than twice as big as y. Otherwise, you wouldn't get, if you divided it, you wouldn't get something greater than 2. So they're telling you here that x must be more than twice as big as y, according to this. Well, if x must be more than twice as big as y, well, it doesn't matter if you multiply y by 2. X is still going to be bigger, because right here it says x must be greater than double y. All right, number 12. 5 is greater than 4. Well, duh, okay. Which is greater, 5 times the number or 4 times the number? Well, I'd rather be 5 times the number. I think that's pretty easy right there. If x is greater than y, which is greater? X plus a or y plus a? Well, if you add a, this is like the addition property of equality. If x is greater than y to begin with, then this result must be bigger than this. Because if you're adding the same thing, that's not going to change anything. You're adding the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's an a or a number. X is still bigger than y. So whatever you started off with here is still bigger than what you started off there. All right, so I'm going to skip a couple of these because everything else is pretty much the same. And let's get to the homework. Create and solve the equation for the following problems. Virginia's painting service charges $10 per job and 20 cents per square foot. I'll make X the amount of square feet. If Virginia earns $50 for the painting one job, how many square feet did she paint at the job? I'm going to write equals 50 because it did say that she spent 50, so we know that's exact. So we're just solving equations here, not too bad. That means 20 cents per square foot must equal $40. And let's see, this is 5 square feet per dollar. 5 times 40 makes 200 square feet. Now, you could have just used division, but I just found a different way of solving it. Divide both sides by 0.20. Go ahead and use a calculator if you want. 40 divided by 0.20 is 200. So 5 of these in 1. 5 times 40 is 200. Yep. Renting an ice skating rink for Dwayne's birthday costs $200 plus $4 per person. I'll make X the amount of people. If the cost was $324, so once again, we know it costs exactly $324, no, or equal to. How many people were at Dwayne's birthday party? All right, pretty straightforward again. So it looks like we don't have any inequalities here. I'm disappointed. These are all equations. 4x is equal to 124. All right, I can divide both of those by 4, and I don't need a calculator for that because I know 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 4 goes into 4 1 time. So the answer must be 31. All right, so that's it. That's a wrap. Have fun.